We're very proud to have Judge Sherman with us here today, and we're very happy to be able to award him this Doctor of Humane Letters. Judge Sherman, by the power granted to me by the Board of Trustees of the State of Ohio, I hereby confer the Chatfield College honorary degree, Doctor of Humane Letters. It gives me great pleasure to introduce the Honorable Jack Sherman, Jr. to give this year's commencement address. Judge Sherman is a scholar, an athlete, a sailor, a well-respected attorney, and much revered jurist. But deep within him, first and foremost, he is an educator. After graduating from the Ohio State University in 1961, Judge Sherman taught at the junior high level at the Cincinnati Public Schools. As a faculty member here can attest, as any faculty member here can attest, educators are also lifelong learners. As an adult, Jack attended night law school at the Salmon P. Chase College of Law while holding a full-time job during the day. After working as a practicing attorney, as both a prosecutor and in the public defender's office, education called him back, and he returned to Chase to teach constitutional and criminal law. I remember my Professor Sherman as one of the most popular teachers at Chase, having an impact on all who took his classes in constitutional law. We knew he was one of the most highly respected members of the bar. It was Chase's loss of the community's gain when he became a judge in 1981. Judge Sherman served on the bench of the Hamilton County Municipal Court and then the Court of Common Pleas. Ultimately, he served in the Federal District Court for the Southern District of Ohio as a United States Magistrate Judge for 14 years. He is a member and has been an officer and president of numerous bar associations, including the Federal Bar Association, American Bar Association, National Bar Association, and Cincinnati Bar Association. The Black Lawyers Association of Cincinnati awards a scholarship to a deserving law student each year in Jack's name. Please join me in welcoming Judge Jack Sherman, Jr. to Chatfield College.
John, the doctorate degree is a big surprise, and I'm very honored. Thank you. To the Board of Trustees, President John Zafaro, my friend and colleague, members of the faculty, students, families, and friends. I am happy to be with you today to recognize and honor the Chatfield College graduating class of 2015. To the graduates, let me say, the very fact that you are here today, sitting in those benches, wearing your caps and gowns, says more than I could ever say in a speech about the efforts of your past or the prospects for your future. So let me share with you a small part of my story in the hope that it will have some meaning for you, even though I come from a different time and possibly a different place. I grew up in Cincinnati, living with my family in a friendly housing development called Melbourne Terrace. My mother, a stay-at-home mom, did very well in high school, but was unable to attend college because of finances. My father, who had to start working early in life, never got past grade school, but was a hard-working worker and always provided us with a safe and comfortable home. I started at Withrow High School in 1951. At that time, the student body was predominantly white, and the faculty all white. In my sophomore year, because I couldn't swim, for physical education, I chose the swimming class. It turned out I was the only black student in the class and the only one who couldn't swim. When I informed my teacher that I couldn't swim, she pointed to the shallow end of the pool and directed me to go there, while the rest of the students remained in the deep end. I don't recall any further contact that semester with the teacher or the students. But by watching the students from the shallow end, by pushing off into the water and imitating their movements, by trial and error, before the class ended, I taught myself out of school. I was able to turn a negative situation into a positive situation. This lesson served me well. Sailing is one of my favorite sports. If you don't want to sail, you can't swim. Also, now I swim twice a week at the YWCA. My age is important exercise and one of my favorite activities. I worked every day after school while at Withrow and seldom carried my books home. I graduated on time, but with a very poor academic record. Acceptance into the University of Cincinnati Day School, I worked full-time for a year while taking several courses at UCC College. The following year, my best friend and I were admitted to the Ohio State University, which then had an open admissions policy for all Ohio residents with an Ohio high school diploma, regardless of grade. Ohio State seemed to me an opportunity in the new and exciting academic world. It also had many enticing distractions. At the end of our first year, we received our final grade. My few friends' accumulated grade point average was a 1.5, which was the minimum requirement for a first-year student. He would return the following year. My grade point average was 1.67. I would not. Little did I know that by submitting 2 University of Cincinnati evening course transcripts with my application for admittance to Ohio State, I was accepted as a transfer student. The minimum requirement for a first-year transfer student was a 1.7. I was out. I was stunned and shaken. When I told my parents, my mother saddened and just left the room. My father quietly told me, I didn't think it would be. My thoughts were, I've got to get back. How soon? I was reinstated the last quarter of the next academic year and admonished that this was my last chance. I took that warning seriously. Working out of fear and determination, my grades greatly improved. And in good time, I graduated with a Bachelor of Science degree in education. I am not proud of these failures, but I am proud of my determination. Unfortunate and even unfair things happen, but you don't give up. You just keep going. After Ohio State, I became a junior high science teacher and taught for 3.5 years. I enjoyed teaching, but at some point decided I wanted to become a lawyer. Having been a science major in college, that summer I took law-related courses at Miami University to boost my chances for admission to law school. I was admitted to Salmon P. Chase Law School that fall and graduated in the spring of 1969. On graduation, my fortunes changed. Before I took the bar exam and without even applying, I was contacted and offered a position with the City of Cincinnati Legal Department. And here is why. Without realizing, I had graduated from law school at the end of the 60s, the decade that had given birth to the Civil Rights Revolution. Major civil rights laws were passed in 1960, 64, 65, and 68, opening up opportunities for minorities and women in the right place at the right time. Shortly after passing the bar, I became an assistant prosecutor. Several years later, I was offered the opportunity to open a federally funded public defender office. My colleague and fellow law graduate, B. Larson, and I started the Model Cities Law Office, and we represented indigent defendants who couldn't otherwise afford an attorney. While at Model Cities, I received a call from the Dean of Chase College of Law, offering me a faculty position teaching constitutional law. This is my favorite subject in law school. However, I had only studied it in one course and had limited experience with constitutional law in my practice. However, I accepted the offer. I resigned my position and spent the entire summer studying at the University of Cincinnati Law Library at the University of Cincinnati in anticipation of teaching that fall. I chose UC's Law Library to avoid possible contact with Chase students until I felt prepared. I wasn't up to answering questions. I wasn't fully prepared for any of these positions, but I decided to take the risk and accept what was offered. Here is the essence of what my friend, Odell Owens, president of Cincinnati State, recently said at a meeting that I attended. Most degrees, especially associate degrees, do not get you a career, they get you a job. Then you build a career from that job by seeking to increase your knowledge and advance your position. He strongly advised not to be content with a nice first job. Don't just ride that indefinitely. Rather, look for promotion, ways to move up. This is how careers are made, especially now, at a time in our history and in this economy that is constantly changing and doesn't expect, offer, or rely on loyalty or longevity. Today's economy requires people to be constantly learning and retooling because conditions, technology, and required job skills are constantly quickly changing. In adding to Odell's insight, I suggest that seeking to advance yourself requires courage and conviction. You can't expect that one job you learn to do well will necessarily carry you through your life work to retire. You must be willing to take on new challenges and opportunities. That could mean leaving the security and comfort of what you know in order to take on something you know less well. Perhaps you feel totally comfortable. Perhaps you won't feel totally comfortable or confident about the new job promotion. But that's okay. Give it your best. Persevere. If you are looking to grow, you will need to be challenged and to trust yourself. If you are considering a possible new job and you already feel totally qualified for it, if you think you already know how to do it well, you may not be reaching high enough. Don't fear taking a risk or failing or disappointing others. You go forward. This is where my personal story may be helpful to you. You can say, see, I've been there many times. Everyone in this room is proud of what you've accomplished. You should be as well. Don't stop now. Carry on.